Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rita and I'm the cooking nurse, and I'm going to be shooting this in the night because I did not make dinner, but I figured since I'm going to be making a loaded beef stew, which is in one pot, I will still share with you. So we have very many vegetables like I'm going to show you. So I'm going to put on my heat onto the pan, and then I'm going to get my beef chunks. I had these ones in the fridge, and then I'm just going to put them on with some of the liquid they have let go of, because that is flavor, so we don't want to lose it. And then I'm going to get some salt and pepper, and I will grind it in on top especially. So what happens is when you put seasoning on top of the meat, the heat is going to come from down, and then it wants to pull it down. So when you come and mix later on, you'll find the salt has already penetrated into the beef chunks and it's seasoned to the bone. So please do not forget to do that. And if you're new here, please make sure to subscribe, be part of this family. We are on the road to 100K, yeah? This year, automatically, we are hitting 50K. Now, as I film this, we just hit 46,000, and I am super grateful for you guys. So please make sure to join the family and be part of us. I mean, remember to like, comment, and share with your friends, as it helps the channel grow, and we get some cash from the ads that you watch from AdSense, and that way we are able to afford more ingredients and bring you more recipes like these. So we're going to cover our beef and we let it cook for a while until all the water has cooked down and the beef is golden brown. If you want to skip this stage, you can just put on oil. You start with the oil. My beef was a little bit fatty, so that's why I did not add any oil. I just put it on the fire, and then that liquid that I did not pour away is what is going to keep the pan and the beef from burning before it cooks through. So if you want to skip that stage, you can just add there some cooking oil or whatever fat you choose really, and then add on your beef pieces. You brown them on very high heat. Make sure the heat is really enough, and otherwise if it's little, it's just going to start producing water, and then now you're into cooking or boiling like I am. So brown it, remove it, then go in with the vegetables. Like I said, I do not have time to make extra dishes, so I have some potatoes, I have some bell peppers, I have some broccoli, I have carrots, I have cauliflower, I have garlic, onion, celery, and tomatoes, which I'm going to be putting all of them in this pan. So let's continue cooking as you subscribe, innit? So our beef has been cooking on medium high heat for a few minutes now, and look at it. It looks delicious already, and it looks like we can actually take it. I know some of you who are like me, we are going to be eating at this point, but you want to toss this around. If your beef does not produce enough fat, please make sure to add in some little bit of oil. I also had brought my own oil for emergency, okay? Just in case something went wrong and the fat did not render. So you want to go on ahead and toss this around. Make sure all the sides of the beef are brown, as this also contributes to the flavor, the overall flavor of the beef stew. So at this stage in my beef, there's not a lot of oil. And if I go away or leave the heat to really be high, I may end up with burnt pieces of meat, and I don't want that. So I'm going to stir. I know I could be scrolling on shorts or reels, but I think a job is a job. So I'm just going to keep on stirring this. And then the first thing that I'm going to put in is garlic. Yeah, thank you. I want to first put in the garlic so that the flavor is really well absorbed. I'm going to toss this around. I am also going to add in some little bit of ghee. This ghee, I sell it, so I clarify ghee and then sell it to people who are interested in purchasing or ready to eat ghee. But it's really, really aromatic, and it makes food just a little bit more delicious. So I'm going to go in with a few teaspoons of this. So this particular one even has onions, like a peta we used to have in school. If you want it done like that, I can also do it for you. But for today, let's continue cooking. So I'm going to toss this garlic into the beef. If this piece falls down, I swear I'm eating it. One aspect that is really, really important, and sometimes you don't even talk about it, is how you regulate your heat while you're cooking. Anything. If you do not know how to regulate the heat, you end up with undercooked food or overcooked food, like burnt food. So you want to make sure that you keep that in check. Now, the garlic is fragrant. I don't want it to get burnt. As you can see in the pan, it's becoming golden and it's really, really fragrant. So I'm going to go in with my onions and celery. This is chopped celery. So I'm going to also put it in and toss it around, just like I did everything else. So the beef, ideally, it's already cooked. Now we can actually eat it. But because it's a stew and we have all these things that we want to put in, you want to go in steps. The ones that are more aromatic go in first so that they are rendered in the oil and produce enough flavor. The ones that are mild and tender go in last so that they can keep shape and color and also maintain the crispness and crunchiness. So we're talking about things like bell peppers, broccoli, and tomatoes. They just go in, like, you have to know which one goes in first and why. The aromatic ones go in first, the hard to cook ones next, then the soft, really vibrant, those ones go in last, because you want to maintain that. Otherwise, they can easily get overcooked. So our onions are also translucent. I am going to go in with potatoes. So when you peel your potatoes, you want to keep them in water so that they do not oxidize. Oxidation is when you find they have turned brown because you have exposed them to oxygen. So they are the ones which are going to go in now. This is our start for the night. This pot is really loaded. So they are going in first to make sure they also first absorb some of this flavor, and they will cook together with the tomatoes. And now after this, I am going to go on and put my tomatoes on top. Yeah, I have some chopped tomatoes which I'm going to put just on top, and then I will season once again, as the salt is going to help break down the tomatoes. So I'm just going to season again on top and cover these, cook them on low heat, and let them break down on their own before I come to stir in everything. So get the cover and cover this and let it cook away in really low heat as we do. These are 100 dishes that no one sent us to use, but we chose 2. And we also knew that it was tiresome. But what can we do? Who do we blame? So it's been a few minutes, like 8 minutes, and as you can see, the beef has produced, or the tomatoes have become juicy, and the potatoes are starting to cook. Usually I get complaints, which I just got actually right now. Someone says when they cook their potatoes in beef like this, they don't get ready. And I think it's because we put in the potatoes at a later stage after putting in everything, and then we add in the potatoes, which then makes them hit the pan when it's already hot. In that way, they do not cook really, really to the core. So let's maybe wait and see how these ones turn out. So I have some seasoning cubes. I'm going to crumble these in. You need to be careful with salt, by the way, as you're using these. And then I have some sauces. I'm going to be adding in some dark soy sauce for the color, of course, and more umami. And then I'm also going to be adding in some Worcestershire sauce for the same reason. I'm adding in 2 Worcestershires and 1 soy. as this tends to balance out the saltiness of the dish. And then I'll grab my beef masala. I just got this from 8 p.m. Spices. If you're already not buying from them, I don't know what you're gonna do about it, but I'm going to be adding in about a tablespoon. So you want to spread this around. As it's easy for me. It's not really a formula, but it's easy for me if I put it by spreading it around, to know that if each piece is covered on the top, it's easy for me to just stir and everything gets the mix. So add in my spices. You can add in more if you want to. I already have in black pepper in this dish, but there's more to cooking than spices. So please, a beef masala is already with a lot of spices. Please make sure not to overdo it. Okay? Thank you for being a good student. So the tomatoes are still really visible, but if I'm not mistaken, the potatoes have already started cooking and they are fork tender. So the fork can go in without using a lot of force. So you want to cover this again and let it cook on really low heat. You notice we haven't added in the other vegetables because we want them to stay crunchy, colorful, like really vibrant and crispy. So you do not add them now at this stage. You want to wait a little bit longer when all the tomatoes have dismantled. If you want to use for a tomato paste, you can go on ahead and add it now, like when you're mixing the tomatoes. And then we are going to cover this again and cook it on really low heat, waiting for all these tomatoes and potatoes to become as soft and juicy and uniform as possible. So we cover this and let it cook. Reduce the heat to medium-low and continue doing other chores because you have so many, don't you? If you don't, please subscribe. So we are going to do a test for our potatoes. If the potatoes are ready and soft, oh yeah, it is. So it's ready and soft. We are going to go in with our other hard vegetables, which are the carrots. They're also diced in almost the same shapes as the potatoes and the beef cubes. So if you're cutting, you want to make sure you maintain the same shapes. This looks so delicious, by the way. And also, as we stir in, the potatoes are going to start to a little bit start breaking on the sides because they are soft now, and that is going to work as a thickener. So in this particular case, we do not need a thickener. The next very important ingredient, I will not tire of saying it, is thyme. In as much as we do not have a lot of time to cook, you do not want to also rush your dishes. You need a little bit of grace, reduce the heat, and cook things on a low pace without rushing them unless it's really like a fast meal. I'm also adding in my broccoli and cauliflowers at this stage. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of water to introduce or incorporate in some liquid, not a lot of it. And then I'm going to mix this because I want the flavors, the spices, the flavors of the beef to also like penetrate into the broccoli. And I'll let it simmer for a while. I'm not going to cover it because I do not want to lose the color on the broccoli and the carrots or overcook them. While that is happening, I am going to go on ahead and chop some of my coriander leaves for garnishing. All dishes, by the way, should have dania. Okay? Okay. We agree as a country, right? By the way, if you haven't subscribed up until this time, we are chopping the garnish and you still haven't subscribed. I really want to let you know that you have a big head and it's not a good thing. Yeah, now you know. So our coriander is done being chopped I'm going to increase some of the heat. I like to shake my food like this, making sure it's not getting burnt at the bottom. And also I minimize how many times I go in with the cooking stick. So we're going to let this simmer around for a few more minutes before we go in with our bell peppers, which we are using the yellow, red, and green. This is going to be a very colorful plate. Yeah, very colorful, so rich with all the nutrients. We have the carbs from the potatoes, we have the protein from the beef, we have the vitamins, you know, everything like your nutritionist says. Yes, all of them are in one pot. And one of the other things I don't like, most of the times when I shoot videos without showing my face, this part you don't see, but I really hate when the food comes on top of the rims of my pans. It's like, you are not the part which is cooking. Can you please take it in? Get yourself together, okay? Okay, cool. Also, when the cooker is like really, really dirty, it makes me so uncomfortable. And then the other thing, are you even African if you use your paper towel once? Like you clean just one thing and you throw it away. Okay, so now we have our bell peppers. They are going to go in second last before the coriander. So you just want to put them all around. The idea is so they can pick up some of the flavors from the beef, from the spices that we used, and just, you know, become a little bit fragrant. This is actually a very good breakfast idea, I think, because it's like really loaded. And because we don't want this to really cook a lot, the food is already hot, so they are still going to pick up some of the heat. If you want more water in your stew or this one pot, whatever this is, you can add the water in. Now I'm just going to collect my coriander and garnish my meal. Everything in here is organic, by the way, that's a flex. So everything is done and dusted. The bell peppers are not going to overcook because that's not the goal. The goal is to keep them as vibrant and crunchy as possible. And then, of course, the darling plate. Oh my God! If you follow me on Instagram, you know how much I've exploited these plates. I bought them from Urban Households UG. They are tiny, like this tiny. They are supposed to be breakfast plates. But who do you tell those things? The person who made their money and bought the plates. We are going to have dinner in them and they will not refuse in it. So this is done. Because it's going to be served as is, we are not going to add in extra liquid. But if you want to serve it as a side or a stew, you can go on ahead and add in more liquid and enjoy. So let's stop the cooking now and go on to the serving. So we are ready to serve. As you can see, our vegetables are still vibrant. We serve some potatoes, we serve some broccoli, we serve some bell peppers, and some beef. Of course, you want to make sure the plate is balanced, okay? Actually, I think the seller of these plates is happy because this is breakfast. I don't know why I still argue with her about this. But she was like, Rita, those are breakfast plates. I was like, yeah, what will Dina say when I put it there? Dina hasn't said anything ever since I started putting it here. So, the potatoes are, of course, tender and juicy. And then these ones, the vegetables, are also they are hot. I'm about to blow in my mouth. Like no one sent me, but